Salami sounds simple, right? But behind those perfectly sliced marbled rounds, there's a fascinating process that transforms humble meat into something bold, savory, and totally irresistible. Do you know what actually happens inside a factory to create those perfectly cured, marbled slices? Let's take a deep dive into a modern salami factory and uncover the secrets behind this centuries-old tradition. You might never look at your next charcuterie board the same way again. Salami's got secrets, and we're about to uncover them. Before we do, hit like and subscribe so you never miss on how other everyday products are made. Step 1. Selecting the meat. The secret to great salami starts with the meat, and in a factory, it's all about getting it just right. Factories get their pork and beef from USDA-approved farms, where strict safety standards ensure the meat is fresh, clean, and free from excess connective tissue. But picking the right cuts isn't just about looking good. The secret lies in the fat-to-lean ratio: 70% lean meat, 30% fat. This balance is everything. Too much fat and the salami gets greasy. Too little and it turns dry and crumbly. Factories don't just eyeball it. They use high-tech fat analyzers to measure the ratio precisely, making sure every batch is spot on. Temperature control is just as important. The meat arrives chilled, just above freezing at 32 to 34 degrees Fahrenheit, so the fat stays firm and doesn't smear during grinding, keeping that signature marbled look intact. Before moving on to the next step, workers give the meat a final inspection. Even a small issue with color or texture could mess up thousands of pounds of salami, so they make sure only the best cuts make it to the next phase. Step 2. Grinding and mixing. Now that the meat's all set, it heads to the grinding stage. This isn't your average kitchen grinder. These industrial machines can handle thousands of pounds of meat every hour. The grind is adjusted based on the type of salami being made. For example, Genoa salami gets a fine grind for that smooth, melt-in-your-mouth texture, while soppressata is ground coarser, giving it a chunkier, more rustic bite. After grinding, the mixture gets tossed into huge industrial mixers, some that can hold up to 5,000 pounds of meat at once. The right seasonings and curing agents are added to the mix. Salt helps preserve the meat and brings out flavor, while sodium nitrate and dextrose feeds the beneficial bacteria that kickstart fermentation. And spices like garlic, black pepper, fennel, and paprika create that signature kick in each variety. This stage is all about balance. Factories use temperature-controlled mixers to ensure every batch is evenly flavored, with no surprises. Accuracy is key here. One off batch could throw the entire production out of whack. Step 3. Fermentation. Okay, now we're getting to the really cool part: fermentation. This is where salami starts to change from just meat into that delicious, tangy treat we all love. Instead of cooking it with heat, this step relies on good bacteria to work their magic. It's the same kind of bacteria used to make yogurt and kimchi, and they're key to giving salami that signature flavor while also making it safe to eat. Once the meat is seasoned, it gets packed into casings, either natural or synthetic, to give that familiar salami shape. Now, here's where the bacteria step in. We introduce lactic acid bacteria, the same ones used in sauerkraut. They feed on the sugar added during the mixing process, turning it into lactic acid. This gives salami that tangy, sour bite and makes the environment too acidic for harmful bacteria to survive. Fermentation happens in special chambers, where the salami stays at a temperature of 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit for anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. During this time, the bacteria is hard at work, munching on sugar and creating that signature tang. The factory team constantly checks the pH levels to make sure everything is going smoothly. Okay, fermentation is done, and now we move on to the next phase. Here's where things slow down and patience takes over. Step 4. Drying and curing. Now let's get to the part where the salami starts to really shine. After fermentation, it's time for the salami to lose some moisture so the flavors can develop. The salami is moved into drying rooms that are carefully controlled for temperature and humidity. It'll stay there for weeks, or sometimes even months, slowly losing moisture. But it's a fine line. If it dries too fast, the outside hardens while the inside stays soft. If the humidity's too high, you could end up with spoiled salami. It's all about keeping that perfect balance. Think about the last time you baked a cake. Finding the right temperature was key, right? Well, making salami is just as precise. Factories keep a close eye on drying conditions, aiming for 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity levels between 65 and 80%. It's all about balance. As the salami loses moisture, it shrinks, sometimes by as much as 40% of its original weight. But this shrinking is what concentrates the flavor, making the salami richer and more savory. Some types of salami, especially the traditional Italian ones, are aged for months to develop even more complex flavors. Others might not be aged as long, but the goal is the same. Drying and curing are what gives salami that unforgettable taste and texture. Did you know that salami comes from the Italian word salare, which means to salt? The process started in ancient times as a way to preserve meat before refrigeration. Step 5. Mold and smoke. Ever notice that white powdery coating on some salamis? That's not just for decoration. It's actually a beneficial mold. Factories intentionally spray the salami with Penicillium nalgiovins, a harmless, edible mold that plays a critical role in the curing process. Surprised by the mold? Don't worry, it's not the gross kind. This edible mold keeps the salami safe from harmful bacteria, helps with moisture loss, and even adds a touch of flavor to make it taste, well, amazing. This isn't the only flavor-enhancing trick. Some salamis take a trip to the smokehouse, where they're slowly infused with rich, smoky flavors from wood types like hickory, applewood, or beechwood. This slow smoking process not only enhances the salami's flavor, but also helps preserve it by reducing bacteria and slowing oxidation. Whether it's a layer of mold or a touch of smoke, this step gives salami that final signature flavor that makes it stand out. Step 6. Quality testing. Before salami ever reaches store shelves, it undergoes rigorous quality testing. The factories monitor critical factors like pH level and water activity to ensure that the salami is safe to eat, has the right texture, and will remain fresh during transport. Each batch is tested for texture, aroma, and taste to ensure it meets strict standards. If any batch doesn't meet those standards, it's immediately discarded. No exceptions. After all, creating the perfect salami isn't just about the process. It's about making sure every slice is of the highest quality. One of these meats is never used in a traditional salami. Can you guess which one? A. Pork, B. Beef, C. Chicken, or D. Venison? Drop your answer in the comments below. Step 7. Slicing and packaging. After weeks, or even months of careful processing, the salami is finally ready to be sliced and packaged. Some varieties are left whole, so customers can slice them fresh at home, while others are pre-sliced into thin, uniform rounds. Factories use high-speed slicers that cut thousands of slices per hour with razor-sharp precision, ensuring every slice is consistent in size and shape. Once sliced, the salami is vacuum sealed to lock in freshness and extend shelf life. The vacuum process removes air to prevent spoilage and oxidation. For whole salamis, they're wrapped in breathable paper, allowing for further aging. After packaging, the salami is shipped to grocery stores, delis, and restaurants worldwide, ready to be enjoyed on everything from charcuterie boards to sandwiches. And that's the incredible journey of how salami is made. Who would have thought that a little bit of bacteria, mold, and a whole lot of patience could transform simple meat into such a delicious masterpiece? Were you surprised by any part of the process? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another behind-the-scenes look at how your favorite foods are made. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.